Wow, this house is cute. Can I really get in the game in this economy? I do have savings, and I am responsible-ish. I should bury it. I'm being wild. But what if I'm not being wild, though? Could I actually score a...
Kick off your home buying journey with Zillow's new buyability tool. It makes it easy to find out what you can afford, so you can get off the bench and onto the playing field with confidence. Check your buyability only on Zillow.
At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
As a small business owner, my favorite thing about posting a job on LinkedIn is that when I hit post, I clock out and LinkedIn clocks in.
LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, get qualified candidates, and manage them all in one place. Plus, LinkedIn extends the reach of your job post by allowing you to share it with your network. And hiring managers that add a hiring frame to their LinkedIn profiles receive 2 times more qualified applicants. Go to linkedin.com/achieve to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Jacob Minter. Yeah, good job with the shot, and the Slough Jets have taken the lead on the power play. With the shot force goal. No need to save from Lorde, and Campbell finds himself in, and it's 3-1 to the Chelsea Chieftains.
Hello and welcome to Zero Pucks Given, the UK Ice Hockey Podcast. We're in partnership with the Hockey Art Co, hockey clothing for hockey people, worn by the best and hated by the rest. Listeners to Zero Pucks Given can get a 10% discount off everything site-wide at hockeyartclothing.co.uk. Just use the code ZP10. We're also in partnership with Manscaped, the globally recognised male grooming brand with top-of-the-range products, including the Weed Whacker, the Lawn Mower, the Beard Hugger and the Dome Shaver Pro. You can get 20% off of everything from manscaped.com when you use the code 0pucks20. And finally, we're part of the Sports Social Podcast Network, the largest sport podcast network in Europe, boasting over 500 podcasts from more than 20 different sports. And we're delighted that ZPG Ice Maidens and Zero Pucks Given are a part of it. Well, speaking of ZPG Ice Maidens, which is our podcast that covers all the Women's League, we've finally got round to getting a female player on this year. And I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Cambridge Kodiaks' Clare Ledbury. Ledbury, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Yeah, good to be on the show.
Absolutely. I think I reached out sort of probably towards the end of last season to get you on. Because when last year we had George and Captain Canada on to talk about the birth of the club, because it only started last year. It took players from the likes of Peterborough, Milton Keynes, local people from Cambridge, and then last year you went unbeaten throughout the league, all the way to the playoff finals, and then this season you're doing just as well. So, I mean, how many of those players have you retained? Have you added to it? And is there a different feel about it this year?
Yeah, we did actually lose a few players, sadly, this season. One of them did relocate to Canada, one of our defensemen, Katie Goodwin. And we lost a couple of others, but what we lost, we gained as well. So, we have had a few new joiners this year. I won't name them all because I will forget someone and feel awful. But yeah, no, we've had some really great girls join us this year, and luckily the vibe, even though we lost some, gained some, the vibe's just been amazing for this year. Obviously, like just rolling over from the absolute joy of the success of last season and making it all the way to playoffs. And yeah, this year it's just given us even more sort of motivation to just sort of go all the way, really. So yeah, the team vibe's great. On the ice, off the ice, we do standard sort of team family love. It's brilliant. It's probably one of the best teams that I've ever been part of. It's a big hockey family. So yeah, it's a great vibe this season again.
Yeah, I love all the stuff that goes out on the TikToks and like the social media and stuff. It just looks like it's good fun, which when you happen to put as much time into it as you do. And what people don't seem to realise in the women's league, the travelling. You're not confident. You have to travel the whole country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just played Gosport at the weekend, and obviously some of us do travel to Cambridge. So like myself, I'm actually from Peterborough, but hour to Cambridge, we'll just shy of an hour, and then you've got 3 and a bit hours on a bus. So, and then 6 o'clock game in Gosport. We weren't getting home till 2 a.m. But put the positive spin on it. We had 3.5 hours of team love on a bus, and like you say, making TikToks, and there's never really a dull moment. If you want to get sleep on that bus, it's not really happening. So till the way back, but it's good fun with the team. Good bunch of gals.
A good result in Solent as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't know what to expect. This year we've completely been unbeaten. We sort of take every game as it's going to be our hardest game. We don't think anyone's going to be any less of a challenge than anyone else. So we only actually won 2-1. It's probably been one of our lowest scores this season. But it catches every team out. I think when you go to Solent, it's not the best rink. Let's put it that way. It's got some competition with Peterborough. But it's a very small ice, so when you're a team that's used to bigger ice, lots of space, being able to play our game, and then we have to squish it into a tiny rink, it was challenging, and Solent came out hard and really made us work for the win. So Captain Canada got our second goal for us. Ellie Goldstone put the first goal in as well, absolute blinder of a goal. We just got it, but we worked really, really hard for it. It was a good challenging game.
And you're going to return the favour this Saturday, I believe, as well. They're making the trip up to Cambridge.
Yeah, they've got to come to our barn on Saturday. Saturday is actually our Pride game as well. So hopefully we get a big crowd in for that. So we were missing a few key players last weekend as well. So hopefully this Saturday, full squads, we'll look to put a few more goals past them.
Oh, excellent. Have you got special jerseys or anything for Pride?
No, not this season. We recently had the Goth Bear jersey, actually hanging up there, end of last season, which was meant to be a kind of a Halloween themed jersey, but it turned into more of it'll be our third jersey.
Oh.
It's actually got a pretty cool logo on it if you look at our social media. It was apparently supposed to be one of the original logos, but it didn't make the final cut. So so that's where it's made its way back into a third jersey.
Oh well, yeah. I think it was Rink Creep, wasn't it, that made the jersey?
Yeah. Big shout out to them because they do some amazing stuff, and they made those jerseys, and they absolutely look well sick on the ice. They're pretty neat. We've had lots of people want to buy them as well, which is pretty cool. So it's good.
That's great. Yeah, I think they are selling a little bit of merch now and again, a few hats and a few jerseys and whatnot. But I think they're sort of planning to do some sort of fanzine as well to keep everyone up to date with what's going on around the sort of their local area of hockey. But away from the Kodiaks and more with you. So where and when did you start, and why on earth ice hockey?
That's a good question. I dread to think how much time, money, years. I've played 19 years now. See, it's been that long, I can't even count. I started when I was 15. I started skating when I was tiny, Monday night skate sessions. And then, I just used to watch the main men's team here in Peterborough with one of my friends. And say I was back when I was 15. We actually went and watched one of the women's games, and I was like, this looks fun. Should we dare each other to give it a go? So down we went, get up in all your higher kit that stinks and too big or too small, and you sort of ploddle out. But I absolutely loved it. She hated it, unfortunately. And 19 years later, it's sort of the rest is history. So I predominantly playing for Peterborough for most of my career. I did quite a few years at Milton Keynes Falcons, about 4 years with those ladies. And then I was actually going to have a year off last year. Just prior to last season. But you know what hockey's like. You can never give up. It's all good intentions. You're going to give up, and it didn't happen. So, I joined Kodiaks shortly after their first debut game last season. Just been with those ladies since. But it's a great sport. I love the team element of it. I think a lot of, without going too deep and emotional, I think a lot of who I am today is because of hockey. Just having that hockey family away from, work life and other social life and stuff. It's such a great community to be part of.
It is an escapism almost, hockey, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, even if you've had a really naff day, you go down and you just throw it all out on the ice. It's nothing that hockey can't fix, really.
So, I mean, as you said, I mean, you'd played sort of pretty much back to back for a few years. Obviously, there would have been the little COVID break, and then when Cambridge started, you were going to have a break. So, what made you think, you know what, I will put a 2-hour round trip into playing hockey and go to Cambridge? What made you take the step down there?
Yeah, well, predominantly, I was going to have a year off, and I just sort of, I think we all have our highs and lows of hockey, and it just got to a point where I was like, I just need a bit of a break. Just going to, I do road cycling as well, and I was like, just going to focus on that. And then with the Cambridge team, like, being completely honest, I was like, be a new team. It might take them a year or so to get warmed up, create that sort of team atmosphere. It might be a while before they start winning games. And then, they played, I remember they played their first game against, it was against Slough, actually, because Slough had just dropped down from WNIHL 1. And I thought, they're never going to beat Slough. And then they beat them. And I was like, okay, what's this all about? So, I had to look into the team and just sort of pinged a little message. I knew a couple of the girls that had come from Peterborough, and, just thought, come for a little training session, just have a little nosy. And, I just loved it, just instantly felt welcome, and, just been there ever since. So, not zero regrets there.
Oh, excellent. I mean, from what George and Christina told me when they were on, that it kind of seemed like it wasn't massively long in the planning. It was quite, we can get this together now, let's get it together and just get it out there. I mean, as you say, for that first season, what was the expectation in comparison to what actually ended up happening?
I think, I probably, don't quote me 100%, but I'm pretty sure the vibe was that we would try our hardest, go out and see what can be done, see how we gel as a team, and just literally see what we can do as a brand new team in the league. Put on a good show as well, because one of the big things with Cambridge is we're one of the first teams that actually charge spectators to come and watch as well, and that's still going absolutely amazingly. It was just literally let's see what we can do as a team, see how great we can do. And obviously it went all the way to playoffs, which I don't think anyone really would have expected. Like, no one would have put that expectation on us at the start of the season to say, you're a brand new team, come on, let's get to playoffs. But we did, we absolutely smashed it. Obviously just missed out on that playoffs final spot. But to be honest, I see the positive in everything. And I think this year we've had another year in this league. And the expectation this year is we just want to win everything. This year, obviously, we've got the cup, we've got the league, and then we've got playoffs. So we want the treble this year. We're going to be greedy and try and go get it all.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how it's actually all lining up because the playoffs, the women's playoffs, is terrific with the way it kind of all comes together. Teams from all over the country playing each other, and the relegation promotion playoff is that's an incredible game. But it was Caledonia Steel Queens, I think, that you come up against last year in the playoffs, and it was a tight game. I watched it live. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the playoffs, but I was working away. I bought the stream and I sat in the pub and watched it.
Yeah,
such a good game.
It was nail biting all the way through to the end. Very incredibly great team. They've got some great players, some great talent. I know a couple of the girls on the team as well, so there was obviously some good banter around the game as well. But incredibly tough game. But we actually went all the way to overtime and literally just lost it in that overtime goal, where it's a 3-on-3 in playoffs, and it's not something we've ever really practiced. So I think it caught us out a little bit. And just unfortunately, I think it was Katie Trachtenberg that got the game-winning goal, I think. And she's obviously an amazing player as well. So yeah, but lessons to be learnt there, and we'll go out and hopefully absolutely smash it again this year. Fingers crossed.
I mean, can you come across them again, or did they step up a league? I can't.
Yeah, so they went up a league. So they're in WNAHL 2 now. So yeah, I don't believe we'll end up playing them now.
That's a shame. That would have been great to see that one get rerun. But they were, of course, in the same boat as you last year. It was a new team that had gone unbeaten through the league as well. So that must have been. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I said to myself, if I'm going to watch any game from this weekend, I have to watch that one. 2 brand new unbeaten teams going head to head in the playoffs. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, you literally couldn't have written that, really.
No.
Yeah.
As you said, there's been loads of new teams join in the last couple of years. We had the sort of the development cup and league that was going on last year with teams that couldn't quite commit into a league schedule. Some of them have now jumped up, like the Invicta Dynamics are now fully in the league, and we have the Frank Wright Conference as well now, of course, which was the old development cup. I mean, have you seen in your years of playing, is this the best the growth has ever been for the women's game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even my years in Peterborough, we used to struggle to get players to come and join. It's never really been like women's hockey has never really had the credit it deserves. And I think it's always been seen as it's either a rough sport or it's not for girls. Whatever the real reasons people don't join, I don't know. But I mean, we always used to struggle for players. You never used to see, more than 3 or 4 lines hockey. And now you'll be playing teams that have got the 3 or 4 lines. They've got big squads. And say that the league this year is even in our league. There's the new Bristol team. You've got Lee Valley, you've got Haringey, all doing amazing this year. In actual fact, my husband coaches Lee Valley Vampires, so there's a little bit of competition there. But they're actually in the B League, so we don't get to play them, unfortunately. But yeah, it's great to see so many teams popping up and girls getting involved in the sport, and making it inclusive for everyone. That it's not. I think sometimes hockey stereotyped as you fight or you get absolutely battered, and generally that's not the case. So it's really, really good for the sport.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've always said with women's sport in general, but also with hockey, is because the pace is not quite as frantic as the men's sport, you can appreciate the skill level a lot more. And which, particularly, I mean, if I was to sort of name a woman player in this country that I love watching, it is your captain. The way she skates and moves with the puck, you could just tell the natural ability there. But because the pace is but a little bit sort of slower than the men's game, I think it makes it a really exciting game to watch. But even as a fan of the women's game, I want you to start hitting each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is the men's, obviously, they are more physical. But I guess, some of the girls on our team do say, I wish we could play check-in. And some of our games are fairly physical. I mean, obviously it's not non-contact, it's just non-checking. So you still get the contact, the physicality of it, just to a certain level before you get put in the bin. Which I've had my fair share of calls this year for, rightly or wrongly, but that's a different story. But yeah, it would be good to see a slightly higher level of physicality in the women's games. I know we've got some of our junior players who play in like under 18 boys, and they're checking hockey. Yeah. But I think generally people don't teach how to check safely, and I think that's where the danger element really comes in. But yeah, if it was taught properly, how to take a hit, how to give a hit, I think it would be safer and more physical. But yeah, I don't think women's hockey will ever get there, unfortunately. But
no, but I mean, there is full checking in other countries. Obviously, when the girls that play in the Elite League and the League One step up to play with the GB national team, that's obviously checking at international level as well. This is where people in this country have kind of said, well, you're not doing the GB ladies any favours if you're not letting them play like their own league. But then have you seen any of the PWHL in America?
Yeah, I've been watching some of it when it's not on at silly o'clock at night, or just catching the highlights. Yeah, they're like, those girls are on a different level. Their skill, their speed, their physicality, they're really inspirational, like, to watch. Just how, their skill's unreal. But I imagine they've been playing since they're about 3 years old. And I think
America, they would have been, wouldn't they?
Yeah. So, and I think that's where, why Christina, our captain, plays just so beautifully, because she's played since she was just a wee pup. So, we can all aspire to be like them. I wish I'd have started way before I was 15.
There was a little Tilly out there a couple of weeks ago as well. There was a couple of players that did actually start throwing some knucks, which was quite good to see.
Yeah, I did see that actually, yeah.
But, I mean, I think from some of the other female players I've spoken to, as you say, we all know you enjoy the physicality of the game. I think a good ref will let a certain amount go, won't they?
Yeah, sometimes.
Is it about communication, though? If the refs can communicate with you, you can communicate with the ref to say, like, where's the line?
Yeah, I think generally our coach does speak to the refs beforehand. And yeah, there is a level, again, I think, because there's not that education in hockey about how to properly make contact. Some of it is dangerous. Like, I got a really pretty bad hit the other week, and it was dangerous, too far away from the boards. And it's just one of those things where they hit you and you're going head first into the boards, and then you're into, like, concussion territory. Luckily, touch wood, was all okay. But we have, unfortunately, dare I say it, seen our fair share of injuries and concussions throughout our team last season and even into this season. So, yeah, I think the level of reffing, I think, has been, how to put it politely, questionable this year. But, they're definitely, the standards are, you can get away with certain things with certain refs, let's put it that way, but it does need to be a bit more standardised for the safety element of the game, really.
Of course, with the safety hats on, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think it helps the Cambridge Kodiaks that there's not a men's team in Cambridge?
I think so, to a degree. Yeah, I mean, like I say, we charge for spectators to come and watch us. We're sort of trying to set that standard that, we all commit to hockey. We all take the time and the effort and the commitment to train. So, nothing really is free in this world, and it should be respected that you can come watch a game for people that put in that time and the effort. And we're getting, some games we're getting sort of 200 odd people through the door. And we've got one little super fan, bless him, he comes nearly every game and he just absolutely loves it. And we've had people that have never watched hockey before that have come to watch. And obviously you've got quite a big catchment area in Cambridge, really, because the closest rink is Peterborough, and then you're, I say, just shy of an hour away. Yeah. So we do get a lot of people through the door. So yeah, I mean, I guess it does help. I don't know. I think we've got our foot in the door first, so even if a men's team came next, I think people will still come support us as females. It's not really expensive either, so it's a good night out effectively. We put on a good show. We try and run it like you would go to any men's game. Having regular ice cuts, doing like this weekend we've got like chuck a duck and sort of cake sales and all that sort of stuff to make it more of a show, a bit more than just turning up to watch a game.
Yeah, but you say there about the regular ice cuts. That's something I think that does actually make quite a bit of difference. If you're not having a cut between period 1 and 2, and you've got players like I know Cambridge have got where you can get the puck down and you can play it around really nicely, obviously the ice cut's going to help that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, again, take Solent for an example at the weekend. The minute you've done a period on that ice, you're pretty much building snowmen. It's so good to, it improves the game. It's got that standard as well that, it's same as men really. Like, why shouldn't we have fresh ice? And, everyone's got fair opportunity then.
Yeah, absolutely. So away from hockey, you said you do a fair bit of road cycling as well. Is that full on like a warrior, is it?
Well, I used to road race. Well, we're talking I guess a good few years ago now. But I just couldn't put in the training that I needed to put in as well as hockey. And unfortunately, road cycling also has its unsafe element to it. They have like categories, so obviously you have to earn your way up the categories. And so when you start in the lowest category, you've got everyone that thinks they can just hop straight into a race, and they don't know how to take the corners or ride in a group safely. So there was just too many crashes for my liking, and I was just like, you know what, I can't train to my full potential. I'm never really going to make it up to the elites, because I love my hockey and I'm not really prepared to give it up. So now it's just sort of more casual, sort of like coffee club runs with friends and things. But unfortunately, I've turned into a bit more of a fair weather rider. If it's cold, now I go on the bike indoors.
I don't blame you. I mean, I suppose actually not many people would think of cycling as a collision sport like hockey is. But I suppose you're in a big group of people and someone doesn't take a corner right, and some of the viral videos of cycling crashes are just like you could hear the pain and the anguish. Yeah. I mean, I got swiped off my bike just on a ride. We used to do a club run on a Saturday morning. I was just going back through town, and just someone didn't look and cut in and swipe me off. So it's always been in my head that how much it hurts when you do get swiped off as well. So I prefer my skin on my arms to the skin on the road. But doing that and the hockey is certainly a glutton for punishment. But
No, absolutely. We found love in other things. Like we I don't know if you've heard of like BANDY. BANDY took up a lot of our time. Have you heard of BANDY?
Oh, go on. Enlighten.
So it's I'm going to make you love BANDY now. So BANDY is actually founded in the UK. And it's a cross between ice hockey, field hockey, and football. So it was founded in the Fens near Littleport, and it's played. So it's like a football pitch. So think of a football pitch, and then it's ice. It's huge, and then you play with 11-a-side like football. And then you've got shorter sticks like field hockey, and you play with a ball rather than a puck. And it is a non-contact sport. And it's basically played to like football rules, so you get like corners and you still have things like offside and all that sort of stuff. So me and my husband Tom, we were, I still am part of the Great British Bandy Association. So we first formed a men's team, and they went out and won silver in, don't quote me, 2017, I think. And then 2 years later, I helped create the first ever women's bandy team, GB Bandy women's team. And we went out to the world champs in Sweden, and we actually came away with silver medals as well. But I could talk to you about bandy all day, but this is obviously a hockey podcast.
Better this game.
Google it. You'll YouTube it. It's such a fast skilled sport. It's incredible. What's that?
Is it on skates or on like ice shoes?
On skates. So the skates are pretty much the same as hockey skates. So where you've got like the back plate, it's more like a goalie plate where you don't have sort of like the back plate on it, and the blades are slightly longer, but not quite as long as like speed skaters. Slightly different. And you don't wear chest pads. You wear elbow pads. You wear like a hockey short, but not quite as padded. Like they're like a girdle. And you wear shin pads, and then your skates, and then obviously jersey. It's an amazing sport, and the world champs are just about to start again this year. We couldn't quite pull together the women's team in time, so we're aiming for 2026. But the men's team have got a team going in a couple of weeks' time, predominantly made up of Swedish English nationals. We've got a couple of 2 or 3 guys going from the UK. There was a training camp back in January in Sweden for men and women GB for bandy. But look it up. It's an amazing sport. It's so different as well.
How did you practice that in this country? Obviously, I know in the winter that the Fens does freeze over, and I've seen people go and play all sorts of stuff up there. But when
when we were putting together the women's team for the World Champs a few years ago, we just trained in Sheffield because we had girls recruited from all over the UK. Sheffield was fairly central, so you play a version of bandy, like they call it rink bandy, but it is obviously a far cry from the size of the ice, like in Sweden. Because unfortunately there's no bandy rinks here. Then we've had a few training camps in Sweden, and before the champs we had training camps out there as well, like literally before the champs. It's hard to practice here because you don't get the breadth of the space and the speed that you can get. It's quite whereas hockey's more stop-start, it's all more about keeping your legs moving, constantly circling. You don't change like you do in hockey. Like you can change. It's more like football subs, but you can go on for say 5-10 minutes and then maybe roll out and roll in. It's not like minute off, minute on like hockey. It's an amazing sport. Yeah. You can check out we've got GB got a Facebook page, Instagram page. Well, we have got a Facebook page as well. It's Team GB Bandy on Instagram. We're just doing all the player releases at the minute for the champs in a couple of weeks. Unfortunately, the champs aren't actually streamed, which is annoying. But there'll be loads of stuff on YouTube that you can catch up on.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. As you say that with stuff being streamed, you're seeing a lot of women's teams now streaming their home games. I don't believe it's to the detriment of the attendance either. Is it something Cambridge are looking to do in the near future?
I don't believe so. I haven't been part of any conversation, so I wouldn't be able to comment on that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's any plans to do that yet.
Yeah, I think it's the idea of just getting it out, even if it's on YouTube and it's for free. It's just eyes on, isn't it? I suppose from wherever they may be, the more eyes on the sport, the better. Yeah. I mean, even some of the men's teams now, they pay for a stream, don't they? I know some of the elite teams stuff are quite expensive, but again, even if it was like a $5 or something, it's good sort of it's good funding for clubs and for the sport. So maybe something for the future, but unfortunately, I don't know if there's any plans. We'll have to watch this space. No worries, but obviously with the bandy, they're obviously filming it for YouTube, so they're doing some sort of filming there, just not live.
Yeah, it's just not live, unfortunately, no.
It's a shame, because the time difference ain't too bad for Sweden either.
Yeah, it's only like an hour, I think. It's not too bad.
Have you been up to the Fens and played shinny as well, or just a bit of bandy?
No, we've when it froze, what was it, about a month or so ago? Yeah, we went up to normally Whittlesea Wash is the local for us. It's literally like 20 minutes down the road. We went up to Upware and near Ely. I thought I was getting there nice and early, like 8:45, and it was absolutely jam packed. It was great though. It was amazing to see like so many kids. There was kids there from Romford. There was like people obviously from Peterborough. There was some other London team there. There was even a GB speed skater there. It's just such a good atmosphere when it does happen. Obviously, it's very few and far between when it does actually freeze over. I've had many of the really awesome skates and like pond hockey down on the Whittlesea Wash. So it's good fun.
The British ODR is a very rare occurrence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not much like as we keep mentioning Captain Canada. I'm sure she'd have just been jumping out the back garden and jumping straight on the ice.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, one of our old D-men, Katie Goodwin, she's living in Canada now, and she's near Ontario, where they've got the Ottawa, where they got the big canal that freezes. Oh, yeah. She's about half an hour away, and she's seen plenty of Instagram videos of her just nipping down there for a 3-mile canal skate. It's like, it's a different world. So I've never been to Canada. It's on my bucket list. So one day.
It's cold out there. The last couple of months, it's been cold, but it is a different cold. I always had I went to Toronto. Oh God, it's quite a few years ago now. I was only like 17 or like 14 in July, but it was like minus 25. And I kept saying to my wife, I want to take my wife to Canada. And she's like, I cannot go if it's minus 25. And I'm like, but it's not. It doesn't like if it was minus 25 here, you wouldn't be able to leave the house.
Yeah.
But over there, it's a completely different type of cold. You can walk around and it's not that bad. But
yeah.
Because I'm saying to her, I'm not going to Canada in the summer because I want to go to hockey, and there'd be no hockey in the summer.
Yeah, it's like we've done a fair bit of snowboarding as well, and it's the same. You can go up, minus 10 up a mountain, and it's lovely. So it's just, I don't know, it's just the crisp fresh air, I guess. It's just different to here. Like you say, we'd all be wrapped up like Yetis if it was minus 20 here.
Yeah, all the roads would be gridlocked.
Yeah.
Britain would just fall apart at minus 25.
It would. As long as we could get to the wash for some pond hockey, that would be all right.
Excellent stuff. Well, Claire, thank you so much for giving up some of your time this evening. Absolutely delighted to have had you on the podcast. Best of luck for the rest of the year with the Cambridge Kodiaks. We'll keep our eyes on how you're sitting at the top of the table at the moment of Division 2 South A.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, do follow us on Instagram, and it's Cambridge Kodiaks on Instagram, and that we generally have all our games on there, and all our results. And if anyone's not been, do come along. We've got a game this Saturday. Yeah, like we said at the start against Silent. That's 6:40 face off. Come along. It'd be great to see some new faces as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The women's season runs a little bit longer than the men's, doesn't it? You'll be running into April with the League Cup and then playoffs in May in Sheffield. I'm sure that's a target for you this year.
Yeah, we've dare we say it, provisionally secured a hotel with refundable though. But no, we're hopeful that we'll make it there. But yeah, playoffs end of May, so does run a bit longer.
Yeah, well, because the playoff weekend is normally over the bank holiday, isn't it? Because they have to try and squeeze so much hockey in there because the under-18s, the juniors, girls, that sort of takes place at the same weekend as well. As I said, the playoff promotion relegation playoff game for the Elite and Div 1, which is a bonkers game. I'd love that if they did that in every division. Yeah,
it's always a good watch. There's always a good atmosphere as well, regardless of like who's playing. It's always a highly competitive. It's always good to watch.
Excellent. Well, Lennox, thank you so much for your time, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you so much for having me.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.